Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Thursday, February 12th, a big day in the world of sports. There may not be any NFL right now, but that doesn't mean we cannot still cover the league. The NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. We are out here keeping you updated on everything from around the world of sports, including the Olympics. The Olympics head into their second week after today. We will keep you updated on the medal count. The U.S. hockey team, the men's hockey team, kicks off their hockey run for gold against Latvia tonight. We'll give you an update on that and the rest of the U.S. medal events. We also have some NBA talk as the All-Star break has officially hit. We will continue to talk about everything from over there. We'll cover the U.S. Olympic hockey team and much more here on our show today. But we have a busy one, and I could not do it alone. So today, joining me, my two friends and co-hosts, Meirav Fatemi and Nolan Jamber. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing pretty good, my friend. Ready to go for another day. We got some big stuff to talk about. We got some U.S. men's hockey. The U.S. men's hockey faces off against Latvia for their debut of the 2026 Olympics. We got a lot to talk about and some exciting lists to break down.
It's going to be a big one. So let's start off with the big league over here in the U.S. Home, sweet home, the NFL. The biggest position in the NFL, the quarterback in the biggest league, maybe the hardest job in the history of the world is being an NFL quarterback. But only 10 of them can be the best in the entire world, and they are all playing at the NFL level. So I've thrown together a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL heading in to 2026. These are the top 10 guys that you, fully healthy, would have on your squad, or at least I would have on my squad if they were fully healthy and this team was, just a normal team at least. So let's dive right into it. At number 10, we'll start off with Dak Prescott. And now Dak Prescott is going to be a controversial one here, but when I'm making a quarterback list, there are tiers to this, and I think you have your tiers in the top 4, you have your tiers from 5 to like 7 or 8, and then you hit your, what I'm going to maybe not so nicely refer to as the mid tier. These quarterbacks are good, but they don't really have that super elite trait that makes everyone fall in love with them. And this is where I think about 9 to 19, you can mess around with the order a whole lot, and I won't be super mad about it. Now, there are quarterbacks that I think should be ahead of other quarterbacks, but they're close enough that a list would be valid. But I've got Dak here. The reason I'm putting Dak above a lot of those other guys is because he has proven production. When he's out there, he consistently has put together great seasons statistically. It is not his fault the Cowboys are losing because I will harp on this forever. Wins are not a quarterback stat. They never have been a quarterback stat. They never will be a quarterback stat. And anyone that's using them as a quarterback stat, it's just not a valid argument in my mind because the quarterback is as important as they are to everything going on the football field. They cannot play defense. They cannot catch the ball. They cannot kick the ball. They cannot do half of the things that you need to do in order to win a football game. So Dak Prescott here at number 10, Nolan. Let's get some thoughts here. What are you thinking about this?
I really like the fact that you're talking about how quarterbacks are, winning isn't a quarterback stat because everybody in the world makes it out that quarterback, like winning stat is for quarterbacks. They're only on the field 50% of the time. You can't rely on your quarterback to go, make a sack, go get a sack, go break up a pass, or go get an interception. They do their best on their side of the ball. If they have a bad game, maybe the loss is on them. But overall, the game is never fully decided based on the quarterback. It's fully based on how well the team plays altogether. And winning is not a quarterback stat. If winning was a quarterback stat, Dak Prescott wouldn't be a top 15, 20 quarterback. Unfortunately, just how it is. But just based off stats alone, based off how well quarterbacks can play, especially Dak Prescott when he's healthy, we see he puts MVP numbers every year, multiple, like thousands of passing yards, 3,500 plus passing yards, multiple touchdowns. Even if he doesn't have the best receivers, he gets it done. And that's why I like Dak at 10. Dak can get it done with not the best roster in the NFL and with not the flashiest wins or like the amount of wins. He can still get it done and be an MVP caliber quarterback.
Yep, absolutely. That's why he cracks the top 10 here on my list. Number 9, I'm going with Trevor Lawrence, a guy that's really hopped onto the scene recently here. Trevor Lawrence finished top 5 in MVP voting this season, and when he finally has a group of wide receivers that can catch the ball, which is ridiculous that that's been an issue for him his entire career, his wide receivers not being able to hold on to the football. That is very concerning. Trevor Lawrence at number 9 after his incredible season. I think people are starting to see why he was the prince that was promised when he was drafted. At number 8, second in MVP voting this year, Drake May. Drake May makes a huge jump up, really. And I know he had a really bad playoff run, but you have to look at everything he did this season. You have to look at everything he's done up to this point. It's not just the playoffs. If it was judging off the playoffs, this list looks a lot different, and we have Sam Darnold a lot higher on our list. But this is not a small sample size. This is going into 2026 with any team. You put this quarterback on the team, which one is going to be the most successful in my book, and I'm putting Drake May at number 8. I do believe in his talent. Number 7, though, Drake May not the best quarterback from his draft class. Jayden Daniels is up here. I know he had a down year. Injuries really derailed it. That is the big issue. When you have Jayden Daniels on your squad, you are going to win football games because he is arguably a top 5 guy. We haven't seen him be fully healthy in almost a year, so that is the concern. So he drops a little bit from last year's list, but still a definitive top 10 guy and someone that people are forgetting about way too easily after what he did in his rookie year. At number 6, we're going Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, if man, you can tell me that all you want, but if you look at the stats and you look at everything that he's done with the circumstances he's had, then I understand this is just going more into the argument. He hasn't played perfect. His playoff games have not been great. I'm well aware of that. But he has had no time in the pocket. He's doing stuff with quick reactions that nobody in the NFL really can do. He's got elite arm talent, elite decision making. He doesn't turn the ball over. Justin Herbert, if you get an offensive line and the weapons he has last year, third tier's the charm under John Harbaugh. I think they're really going to turn it around, and the next year is going to be the Chargers' year. Justin Herbert to number 6. May Rob, that's the first half of my list. Dak, T-Law, May, Jayden Daniels, and Justin Herbert. Do you have any major issues with my first half?
I don't hate it. I'm gonna be really honest. So, Jeremy, how do you not? I'm curious to hear if you have Brock Purdy on your list because I haven't heard his name. I think Brock Purdy definitely needs to be on this list. I think he should just. I think if you could squeeze him in anywhere, I would squeeze him over Dak Prescott. But outside of that, I think with the rest of the guys that are still left in the AFC, so the rest of the top guys in general from the AFC and NFC, I think this is a good list so far. That's the only thing I would
You
say.
will
Purdy
not be
instead of
seeing
Dak.
Brock Purdy anywhere on my list, but we
I
can
think
talk
Purdy.
about the adjustments. He is in that tier where I wouldn't be super mad if you moved them around. Getting to the top 5 here, we got the MVP, Matthew Stafford, at number 5 after what he did last season. Stafford, a future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, and a guy that clearly is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, especially after what we just saw him do this season. Stafford to number 5. And then you hit the top 4. Your big 4 in the NFL. Joe Burrow at number 4, although I think there's a real argument to put him down to number 6, just about. I think you could make an argument for Stafford and for Herbert above him right now. There's the lack of making the playoffs 3 years in a row. And I know I said quarterback stats. Wins are not a quarterback stat, which is true. But it's just a little bit concerning that a guy that's consensus top 4 in the Mount Rushmore of current quarterbacks in Joe Burrow has not been able to will this team to more victories. But again, that defense is atrocious, so we're not going to penalize him for it too much. At number 3, Josh Allen, MVP 2 years ago, back in the top 5 for MVP yet again was Josh Allen this year. He is just a beast, the Cam Newton of our time, a guy that'll run through your face, and a guy that will get it done when he needs to. He's going to step up in those big moments. I know he didn't have a great playoffs, but he will get you there. I firmly believe in Josh Allen. He's number 3 in the league. And number 2, I'm going with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a special talent. We haven't seen anything that he can do on the anyone do what he can do on the football field in a very, very long time. Not really since Michael Vick, and he is doing it at a higher level for a longer period of time with worse weapons. This is a very, very special quarterback. He is at number 2. And at number 1, the only, Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback still in the NFL. You can have your gripes. You can say he didn't have a great season last year. I don't care. Patrick Mahomes, with what he's done in his career so far, has shown me that this is something that he can return to. He was still playing at a near MVP form last season with just his numbers, at least in the first half, even without his weapons. This guy is incredibly impressive. Patrick Mahomes deserves more credit than he's getting right now. I think he should still be consensus number 1, but I would understand if you were to put him at number 2 at the lowest. But that's my list. I'll run through it for you, Nolan. Number 10, Dak. Number 9, T-Law. Number 8, Drake May. Number 7, Jaden Daniels. Number 6, Justin Herbert. Number 5, Matt Stafford. Number 4, Joe Burrow. 3, Josh Allen. 2, Lamar. And number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Nolan, what are your thoughts here as we as I'd love to hear your top 5 or something like that. Whatever you got for us, run through your top 10 for us.
So before I get into that, I do like Patrick Mahomes at 1. It was definitely really weird not seeing him in the playoffs this year. It was super weird not seeing the Chiefs in the playoffs. It just kind of felt odd. So you see them in the playoffs for the past 7 years, and they weren't in it this year. Just really weird. But Patrick Mahomes is a back-to-back Super Bowl winning quarterback. Everybody thinks, you put him on a roster. Let's say he goes to the Rams. He takes the Rams to a Super Bowl. You put him on a roster with the Niners. I can see them going to a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes elevates an offense to a level that other quarterbacks really – he just elevates an offense to a whole new level of play style. And you can put him on any roster in the NFL that has a competent offense. They can probably make it to the Super Bowl. I think he's still that good of a quarterback. But in my opinion – I do believe Joe Burrow should be a top 3 quarterback. I still don't care how bad of a playoff player he is or how little he makes the playoffs. I still think I will take a healthy Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson, over Matthew Stafford. In my personal opinion, we've seen what Joe Burrow can do with a good offense, a good healthy offense, and a mediocre defense. 2021, he went to Super Bowl. I think you put him in a right spot, you get him the right weapons, just get a new defense, and that Joe, and he stays healthy, of course, no turf toe, anything like that. He has the weapons. He has Jamar Chase. He has Chase Brown. He has T. Higgins. He has the players to do it. You get him the right defense. He is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion.
Who would you put him over?
I definitely put him over Justin Herbert. But my top 3. I'll do my top 5. I'll give you my top 5. I kind of decide,
All right.
Number 5, I'm gonna put Matthew Stafford, MVP, but he's MVP. He's still a great quarterback, but MVP Matthew Stafford at 4. And then I'm gonna put Lamar at 3, or Lamar at 4. Then Josh Allen at 3. Or sorry, no. Joe Burrow at 3, Josh Allen at 2, Patrick Mahomes at 1.
The Lamar disrespect is insane.
I'm not disrespecting Lamar whatsoever. I think
he's done nothing.
What do you mean he's done nothing? He's won 2 MVPs.
He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's a phenomenal quarterback.
Conference championship.
He is okay. Come on. He's still a phenomenal quarterback. Don't get me wrong. His athleticism and ability to go out and make plays is possibly the best I've ever seen out of a court. Better than Michael Vick. He's probably the most athletic quarterback of all time. But I just would rather. I think Joe Burrow is more reliable in the clutch. I think Joe Burrow can get it done better than Lamar Jackson can. Straight up. He's a 2-time MVP. Don't get me wrong, he's phenomenal. But I would just take Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson in situations.
I truly think that Lamar Jackson is closer to Patrick Mahomes than any other quarterback on this list.
Based off skill, like athleticism, or just like overall, just like straight up?
Throwing or just running?
Both.
Nope. Hell no. No.
I don't think you understand how good of a pocket passer he is.
He's not. Go look at the numbers. He's not a good pocket passer. at least of recently, since the 2023. I was wrong. He has been to a conference championship 2023 when they lost to the Chiefs. Ever since then, no.
We're not talking
No.
about his playoff record, which even if you wanted to talk about the playoffs, the last few playoff runs, he has played phenomenally. It has not been he's not been the reason why why they lose these games. This is this is insanely disrespectful for Lamar Jackson, right? You take a look at what he's done over his career. Again, those 2 MVPs, he has thrown for over 4,000 yards in his career. And yes, he can use his legs, but he uses his legs less and less every single season because he looks to throw. You know how many times this season he has used his legs not to run, but to extend a play to find Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman or Tez Walker downfield, or one of their tight ends down the field. This is not a guy that is coming in to run the football. He's looking to throw first. He came in as a run first quarterback when he was a rookie, but that was almost 10 years ago. That's 8 years ago at this point. He has evolved his game since then, and he is one of the elite pocket passers in the NFL right now.
You're not wrong. I just like Joe Burrow. I just something about him. I think not just gonna look at playoffs, but Joe Burrow has one season in the playoffs and has done more. He's gone to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson just can't get past that hump, and people are gonna look at that and say that's like people will see Lamar as a playoff sinker and not like a playoff riser just because he can't make it to the big game. But overall, they're both still phenomenal quarterbacks. I just like Joe Burrow more. I still think Lamar is probably the most athletic quarterback of all time and Hall of Famer. I hope so, but he's a 2-time MVP as well. I can't deny the facts. He's a 2-time MVP, Heisman winner. He's done it all. He's a phenomenal quarterback who who can make a Super Bowl, who can get past the AFC Championship. He just hasn't yet. And when he does, I will say he's better than Joe Burrow. But until then, I still think Joe Burrow is just better.
Mira?
I was just gonna say, you mentioned how quarterbacks don't have anything to do with team success. When the Ravens were beating the Chiefs in the second half in the 2023 AFC Championship game, and it was Lamar Jackson who threw 2 picks. And yeah, Zay Flowers fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line that could have gone to the touchdown, that could have won the game, but he also threw 2 picks in the fourth quarter of that game. I'm quoting my buddy that's in the chat here, my TikTok blast. Be sure to check me out on TikTok.
For everyone that wants to say Lamar Jackson is not a great pocket passer.
He's not.
Did you know that Lamar Jackson is the all-time leader, all-time, in the history of the NFL in passer rating? All-time.
What's his rating?
102.2. All-time leader.
Who's number 2? Do you know?
Aaron Rodgers. He's tied with Aaron Rodgers at 102.2.
That's insane.
All time. And you're going to sit and tell me that he's a running back. That's crazy.
He also took like 250 yards, almost 250 yards of sack yards this year.
It's not his fault. His line was pretty bad.
A lot of that was his fault, I will say. Look, he's not perfect. I'm not saying he's perfect. There's a reason he's not number 1. But to say that he can't throw the ball, to call him a running back, is absolutely ridiculous at this point in his career.
He's second in rush yards with 150. His team averages 156 rush yards a game. Yes. Do you know what their passing yards is? 192 passing yards a game. It is 28th in the NFL in terms of.
I don't care about counting stats. I mean, I care about them a little bit.
Counting stats.
Counting stats matter. You're right. They do. But let me tell you something. He is the best passer rating in the history of the NFL. The history of the NFL.
Long time.
This is not current. This is better than Tom Brady. This is better than Kurt Warner. This is better than Drew Brees. This is better than Steve Young and Peyton Manning over his career. Lamar Jackson, over every quarterback's career, by passer rating, is the best quarterback in NFL history. And you were saying that he is worse than Sam Darnold. Oh.
I didn't say Sam Darnold yet. Hold on. I would put Joe Burrow ahead of Lamar Jackson. I would put Trevor Lawrence ahead of Lamar Jackson right now. I would put Brock Purdy ahead of Lamar Jackson right now.
Crazy.
I would put I'm not ready to say Sam Darnold yet, but I will say Sam Darnold has a better postseason career than Lamar Jackson so far, and he's done it.
Little behind the scene, behind inside radio here for all you listeners, all you guys watching. We were talking last night, and Mayrob says Sam Darnold better than Lamar Jackson. I start laughing. I was like, you can't be serious. You've got to be kidding me. I turned to my roommate. I say he's joking, right? He's got to be joking. He said, nope, I'm completely serious. Am I gonna have to say this on the show tomorrow? I said, yeah. If you truly believe this, you make a top 10 list. If Lamar Jackson is not on there, you're insane. And if you think Sam Darnold is better, you're gonna have to say this at some point. So, Mayrob, I would love to hear your top 10 list here.
Put Sam Darnold the one, I'm gonna lose my mind. I swear to God.
Well, my top 10. You want a whole top 10 list right
I'd
now?
love a whole top 10. I'm fascinated by your list.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be. I'll roll 1 through 10 just to make it easier for you guys.
That works.
At 1, I have Josh Allen. At number 2, I have Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, I have Matthew Stafford. Number 4, I have Joe Burrow. Number 5, I have Trevor Lawrence. Number 6, I have Jaden Daniels. Number 7, I have Justin Herbert. Number 8, I have Jalen Hurts. Number 9, I have Brock Purdy. And number 10, I have Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
Lamar's the 10th best quarterback in the NFL.
Lamar is the 10th best quarterback in the NFL.
that's
Followed
disgusting.
by Sam Darnold, Bo Nix, and Jordan Love. And honestly, Jordan Love is way too low on this list. I think he should be higher up on this list. But yeah,
you tell me you think Sam Darnold, you're telling me Sam Darnold has the best. Okay, he doesn't have the best, better than Lamar Jackson like all time, but he also has like 3 first-team all players. Lamar Jackson has never had like an first-team receiver or like a first team.
He
Well, he's had Derrick
literally
Henry.
won first-team All-Pro 2 years ago.
No. I'm saying like on his like the receivers.
the only guy I could think about moving down off this list is probably Jalen Hurts. Just maybe just because of he has probably the greatest wide receiver. He has AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley behind him, and he consistently struggles with an offense, which makes no sense. But that's the only guy maybe I could be willing to listen to drop. But at this
Brock
point,
Purdy
he is
above Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
He has a pretty good story. Yeah, that's a brag for. He's had a pretty good story, but I still wouldn't put Brock
Ridiculous.
Purdy.
I wish I had a mute button on you like they did in Around the Horn.
We'll revisit this as we get close to the NFL season next year as well. This is going to be something.
We're 4 days into the offseason. We're not deep enough to be saying stuff like that.
Anything, bro. Yeah,
Jackson
makes you lose your brain, bro. Offseason ruins people, dude.
I'm telling you.
This is insane.
That's bad. Brock Purdy top. I could think Brock Purdy. I can give him like 10 or maybe 9, but top 5.
I'm telling you, bro. Brock Purdy's that good of a quarterback, especially in that system.
He does fit well, but he's nowhere near a top 5 quarterback.
And that's fine. There are plenty of system quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence is a system quarterback. Dak Prescott is a system quarterback. Jordan Love is a system quarterback. That's not true.
Yeah, you can throw Drake May in there. You can throw Baker Mayfield in there. Maybe not Baker, but the rest of it. I don't know, man. I don't know, but this is something that we'll definitely probably revisit as we have a very quiet summertime. We have some fun debates ahead of us, Jeremy. I'm excited.
This is actually insane.
I'm
everyone
excited.
in the comments, go tell Mayrob how crazy he is. Go flame him. Are your TikTok comments flaming you yet, Mayrob?
Nope, they're not. Everybody,
I
the only one that they're flaming me about is Jalen Hurts, and honestly, it's fair. But I like Jalen Hurts.
You're crazy.
I'm a Jalen Hurts guy.
You're insane. All right. I'm gonna digest this. So we need to take a quick break. When we return, Nolan Chamber slides into the host chair of the Triple Threat Show. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I'm your host, Nolan Jamber, here with my two friends and co-hosts, weird to say that, Jeremy Lapidus and Marab Fatemi. In this, we're switching it up a little bit. We're not talking about football. It's getting too mean, getting too political, bouncing it out to basketball. All-Star break, games are coming to an end for All-Star break, and there's a lot of discussion about this upcoming next season and the summertime about the new NBA expansion talks. There's been a lot of talks. Adam Silver, Board of Governors, Board of Commissioners are voting this summer on if the NBA should be expanding. And there's been a lot of rumors, where the spots will be. There's obviously Vegas. There's obviously bringing back Seattle, the Supersonics. But there's a city that I really think could sustain a team that could maybe change the landscape. I think Pittsburgh could sustain an NBA basketball team. They already have three sports that historically are fairly good. You have obviously the Steelers, one of the most consistent teams in NFL history making the playoffs. Winning doesn't matter. They're in the playoffs every year. You have the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to look past them. They don't count. They just don't count. And then you have the Penguins, one of the best historical franchises in hockey of all time. Multiple Stanley Cups, some of the best players of all time that ever played the game. I've been on the Penguins. But looking at Pittsburgh as an expansion team, I would not disagree with at all. One of the City of Steel, one of the most renowned cities in America, already has, like I said, three competitive and pro teams. I really think they could host a new team. So how would you go about when you want to expand these teams, expand these conferences? Would you add these teams? So let's say they add Pittsburgh and Vegas. How would you think they would realign the conferences? Because that'd be 32 teams. Would they do it with the NFL? Would they do 8 conferences with 4 teams in it? Jeremy, how do you think that would go if they did added 2 new teams, 32 teams? How do you think they would realign how all that goes? How do you think?
Yeah, so there are 3 options when you're talking about realignment here, because let's say you add, I guess there's more than 3 options. First of all, you add 1 in the East, you add 1 in the West, everything can stay the same, right? That way everything stays even. 15-15 goes to 16-16. The only time that realignment, I think, really enters the conversation is when you have to talk about if you put 2 on the West. So if you go with the scenario where you have 1 in Vegas and when you have 1 in Seattle, that's when realignment has to happen. The divisions in the NBA, let's just speak frankly about this, they don't exist for any real purpose. It does not matter at all. When you are talking about realignment, you're talking about conference realignment. There are 3 teams in the West, if you put 2 on the West Coast, that have an option to move over. Those are the 3 teams that are along the banks of the Mississippi River, which is kind of the unofficial divider of the West and the East in the U.S. That's the Minnesota Timberwolves by the mouth of the river. That's the New Orleans Pelicans at the bottom of the river. And you have at the very top, at the very middle, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Those 3 teams all planted right along the banks of the Mississippi River. So those are going to be your top 3 contenders. Now, if I were to eliminate one off the plate, it would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have the most current intrigue involving the other Western Conference teams because they've been to the Western Conference Finals now 2 years in a row. They have budding rivalries with Ant and some other Western Conference superstars. I wouldn't want to rip that away, despite that maybe shifting the balance of power a little bit so that the East is as competitive as the West, because the East, let's just face it, has not been as good as the West has in a very long time. The other 2 teams, that's a toss-up. I think I would lean more towards the Pelicans simply because there is that connection between the Hornets and the Pelicans, as both of those teams used to be named the Hornets. I think that's an interesting kind of connection. You could build a rivalry, and plus, I know the NFC and the NFL is not an East Coast league, but it feels more like an East Coast league to me. It just kind of does, always has. And the Saints are in the NFC, so that makes me think East Coast. Maybe that's just my brain trying to play tricks on me to find something else. I know it's not actually working like that, but I would lean Pelicans, then I would move the Grizzlies, and the third team I would move would be the Timberwolves. I think if you move any other team, it's going to start to cause problems with the way that you've done the geography in the NBA.
Yeah, I could see that too. I do like the Pelicans coming over because obviously, like we said, the Eastern Conference definitely isn't as strong, and they're obviously the bottom feeder. Actually, not the bottom feeder. They're the second worst team in the West Coast, in the Western Conference now, because they just beat the Kings. They have a good roster though. You would roster with a rookie like Derek Queen, Jeremiah Smith or Jeremiah Fears. Sorry, you got Zion. You got some good You got some good players, good talent, but just not West Coast talent. You bring them to the East Coast. I can see that team being a solid team in the East, maybe a play-in team. Obviously, probably getting ahead of myself, but never hurts to see a team like that succeed. But with all this, all these expansion talks, there's this rumor that currently the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, the Edelson family, they're quite a wealthy family. They bought them back in 2023 for 3 point something billion dollars, and the Edelson family are well known to be casino owners. They own a lot of casinos. They own a whole brand of casinos. And the original conspiracy about all that when they bought it, and now they traded Luka, and the whole conspiracy was they were purposely tanking to force an expansion so the Edelson family can go build casinos in Vegas, because you can't build casinos in Dallas, in Texas. It's not allowed. Gambling is banned in Texas, and they wanted to go expand, and this would help obviously the NBA. This would help the Edelsons grow richer. And now Mark Cuban is stepping up and saying, "Hey, there's rumors going around. I'm not sure, how true it is, but I've seen and heard that Mark Cuban is saying he still owns 25% of the team, but he wants to buy them all back. If he wanted to buy them back right now, it'd be cheaper to buy them back for what he bought them for. And if the expansion goes through, I believe that honestly the Edelson family would move on. They'd go take on the team in Vegas, and he could possibly buy back the Dallas Mavericks. And I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. We've seen how good they were under his rule when he was, the head, when he was running it all. We saw them won an NBA championship. We saw them draft Luka Doncic and turn him to what he is now, one of the best players, MVP caliber player in the NBA. We've seen what he can do as a team, and with this young roster they have, with all these draft picks they have coming in, since trading AD to the Wizards, you get those 3 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons. They get a lot out of this trade, and they have Cooper Fleck, and you have a good roster building. Rob, what do you think could come of this? What do you think could, if Mark Cuban comes back, Edelson family leaves, goes to Vegas, how do you think Mark Cuban be able to kind of take over the team, take over the roster again? How do you think he'd be able to handle coming back, to Dallas and taking over the organization?
I think Mark Cuban, what we've seen from Mark Cuban over his history, I mean, he brought a championship. He won a championship as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks in 2010. I apologize about the sun, by the way. It's just the glare coming through my window, going crazy. But no, the Mark Cuban going back, becoming the owner, he's already voiced his opinions on the Luka trade. He said if he was the owner, it wouldn't have even happened. It wouldn't have even been a discussion that Luka would have been traded. I think he just wants to take over the reins. Ever since he's left as the majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, we've just seen a cataclysmic fall from the Dallas Mavericks. The last time we saw them, and he was the owner of the team when this happened, they were in the 2024 NBA Finals. What happens in 2025? They trade Luka. They start crumbling. They start tanking. Kyrie Irving gets hurt. We haven't seen him since. Granted, it's not his fault. We haven't seen Derek Lively at all. We've just seen the team just crumbling at the seams in every way, shape, and form. They have just been crumbling ever since Mark Cuban left. I think he just wants to come back and bring some sort of base, some sort of grounding to the system, get some of the guys back, and bring a sort of culture, because it starts at the top with the ownership. If you have a terrible owner, it trickles down through the general manager, through the head coach, and honestly, all the way down to the players. You see it with the Dallas Cowboys, funny enough, with Jerry Jones. So I think I think this would be good for the city of Dallas to keep the Mavericks there. There's going to be a team that's going to be playing in Vegas regardless. And in my opinion, I said this yesterday, LeBron James is going to become a minority or a majority owner of that team when they go to Vegas. But I think that team is going to stay there regardless in Dallas. There is no way, regardless of if Mark Cuban is the owner or not, Adam Silver is going to let them move to Vegas just because an owner wants to build casinos. They might build casinos in Dallas. That's totally fine. Do whatever you want in Dallas. But you're not going to move a team from Dallas to Vegas just because you want to build a casino. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I hope not. I like them in Dallas. They've really built a culture there. Obviously, a winning culture. They've had constantly good seasons with Luka Doncic. Obviously, the Edelsons, they just traded the owner. She approved it, but no. I remember when I read an article when it first came out. She approved it with no hesitation. She saw the trade. she saw what they were getting in return for Luka, and she approved it practically with no hesitation. I don't think she knew what she was doing. Maybe it was too early in the morning for her to know what was going on. But I still can't believe to this day that trade went on. Quite frankly, it's just unbelievable. But LeBron going to Vegas and taking the minority ownership route, like taking the Tom Brady route, I kind of like that. One of the greatest of all time, going to Vegas, kind of taking over a franchise that's not looking too hot. But honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that idea at all. And yeah, that's the hot segment. I'm gonna probably take a little break here and toss it to Marab. Thank you.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I'm taking over the host chair for now. Jeremy's throwing it to me, and we got some hockey to talk about. USA Hockey starts their campaign to their first gold medal, trying to get to their first gold medal game. Well, not their first gold medal game, but trying to get to the first gold medal for the first time since 1980. 1980, since the United States won a gold medal in hockey in the Olympics. I'm going to break it down fully here. They got a big game against Latvia, but I just want to break down the roster here. And I have a hot take for you at the end of it, so stay tuned. When we're looking at this roster, I mean, from the captain spot with Austin Matthews, a lot of people didn't like that pick. A lot of people said Charlie McAvoy should have been named as captain of this team, or Jack Eichel maybe. But Austin Matthews is a kid from Toronto. He's played phenomenally for the Maple Leafs for the last at least 6 years now. He's been a great player. He's been the franchise cornerstone over there. I'm not mad at it. Same with the Tkachuk twins. The Tkachuk twins, Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk. Now, Brady's more of the scorer of the team, so I expect him to continue to score those points. But Matthew Tkachuk is a damn good defender. He's playing as a forward, but he's great at passing. He gets the assist numbers in. He's going to be a great player for this United States team. And then like I said, Charlie McAvoy is the defender of the team, the back line defense. He's going to be really good. But this is my major problem with this team. And I am waiting for Jeremy to harp on me because we were talking about it off screen and he was not happy. Can we talk about how the USA struggles to consistently get good quality play at the goaltender spot in the Olympics? I mean, the rest of the world, from Finland to Sweden, even Italy. If you look at Italy's goaltender last night, he had 60.
Oh my God,
He
he
had
went off last night. That was insane.
ridiculous last night. He had 60. He scored. I think the team scored like 5 goals, but he had 58 saves in a game.
The
He was
goalie got hurt in the third period,
I
making one
guarantee
of the most
no
phenomenal
US
saves I've ever
do it.
seen. He stretched his leg all the way out. If I had done it, I would have pulled my groin into about a million pieces. Uh, Incredible save. And that was his 49th shot of the game with like 17 minutes to go in the third. And the backup came in and faced another barrage of shots. That was an insane performance.
It was ridiculous. But I'm telling you, I know Connor Hellebuck isn't doing that. I know Jeremy Swayman isn't doing that. I know Jonathan Quick isn't doing that. There have been a plethora of goalies. If you go through, I've been trying to find a goalie list. Apparently, it doesn't exist. I'm going to make my own list in a sec. By the time tomorrow rolls around, before the Olympics close, at the very least, we'll revisit this. But when you look at the history of goaltenders in the Olympics for the United States, that has been the consistent issue with this team. At what point will the USA look at their team and say, we need to get a quality goalie on our team and stop them from going abroad, stop them from going overseas, or just homegrow one? Get somebody homegrown that can actually sit there and be the anchor for this team. So they've always had the scoring. Well, their scoring has been off hit or miss. I think they have a good scoring team this year. I think they have a great roster this year, and they have a real chance of doing it, of actually winning a gold medal. But when I'm looking at this goalie spot, it consistently gets me. I can't. I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't feel comfortable with the spot with the guys that they have in their spots. I know Jeremy's going to say something in a little bit, and we'll probably revisit this when I get a full breakdown list. Like I said, it doesn't exist on the internet. I've been trying to look for it. I've been trying to look for any sort of list that shows step by step, year by year, with stats, how these players look. Um, it just doesn't exist. So this is something that we'll definitely revisit, but it's something that's definitely really, really, really getting me worried this year.
That I think is one of the most. You're full of insane takes today, man, Rob. Just full of them to the brim. Here's what I'll say. I'll run through the Olympic roster today, and I will tell you that we have 2 of the top 5 goalies in the world on our roster.
Well,
Connor Hellebuck just won the MVP and the Vezina.
crumbles under pressure.
Sure, but did you see what he did in the Four Nations Cup? He played really good. Even if he is going to crumble under pressure, and he hasn't played great this season, which I'll give you, you know who else they have? They have the honor, Jake Oettinger. We love Jake Oettinger, one of my favorite goaltenders in the world to watch. He is insane. Oh my God. You want to talk about what the Italian goaltender did? Jake Oettinger could do that in his sleep. Dude, Jake Oettinger is insane. We love Jake Oettinger. He deserves more love, goalie for the Stars. Jeremy Swayman, a solid goalie. He's not going to touch the ice. He's number 3 on that roster. If you want to find an issue with this Olympic men's team, the issue is they don't have the scoring. They left Jason Robertson at home. They left Cole Caulfield at home. They left their big offensive guys at home in favor of big physical play, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know where the goals are going to come from because you lost a lot of goal production when you're not bringing those guys that near the top of the NHL in all of scoring. That's my big concern with this team. It's not the goaltending. The goaltending will be fine. I promise you, the goaltending will be fine. You can go back to the history of the U.S. Goalies, right? There have been incredible goaltending over the history of NHL goalies, right? Again, you can go and you can see guys like Jonathan Quick, who, when he was in his prime, one of the best goalies in all of the NHL, won a Vezina for the best goaltender. This guy has played huge minutes for this team. I love the U.S. goalies. I can't believe you think that that's the weakness on this team.
I could see it. No, I think you're 100% right with it. When they get, I know, looking back at this list, you're absolutely right. Look at Matthew Tkachuk, looking at Charlie McAvoy and Jake Eichel. Like, this team is built on physicality, and you're 100% right. But they're relying on Austin Matthews to be the engine of this team, and we'll see if that'll be the downfall of them. But physicality is going to go a long way, especially in the when we're looking at the world stage. These guys from around the world are looking, I mean, they're looking to take your head off, literally, when it comes to hockey. They're going to be playing all out. You don't want them to get hurt, they don't care. This is like the World Cup for them. Like in terms of how the soccer players around the world look at the World Cup, the Olympics and hockey is pretty similar. Like if we're being really honest here, the Olympics and hockey is one of the most competitive tournaments that we see on in any sport, if we're being serious. So these guys are going to be playing really well. Maybe there could be a guy like a Jack Hughes that could break out. This is an opportunity for some of the younger players from the younger generation to take over. Like Brady Kachuk, Jack Hughes, Jake Gensel to get out there and make a name for themselves and push an agenda, not push an agenda, but push their names into the fold with the creme de la creme of the NHL, especially with the playoffs around the corner in a couple months in the NHL. This is a good opportunity for some of these guys to get out there and play some good hockey.
Absolutely, and I expect this to be an incredibly competitive game.
Also, I didn't know Jake Ott was there. You were 100% right by that. Is
I,
Jake Ott starting or is it Hellebuck?
Hellebuck's probably going to start, honestly.
Hellebuck. Then we're cooked. Then we're screwed. I'm
If we
telling you,
don't beat Latvia, if we lose to Latvia because of him, there is not a
I'll
single
call you.
there's
I'll
not
call
a
you
single
right after
reason
the
why
game.
he will start the rest of the game.
We will do a show right after the game if we lose to Latvia.
Bet. You know what? Lock it in.
Then I will talk to you and I'll be like, Jeremy.
When you think we're gonna lose to Latvia?
No, I'm picking the U.S. to beat Latvia.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really close game because Latvia is really underrated. But
Dude, we love the
uh,
Protas brothers.
yes, they're going to be. Latvia's a great goalie in there, right? Shout out the old UMass goalie. I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on his name right now. I'll find it in a second. But they're going to be a really tough out in the Olympics here.
All right, what about the gold medal match? Everyone is thinking, Mayrob, that this is going to be a battle between Canada and the U.S., which I think fairly to assume that. Would you think? Do you think the U.S., like you were saying, can get the first gold in the Olympics since 1980?
Do I think they can? I think they have a chance. I think they have a squad that they can use to actually get there. I'm using what you said. I'm 100% with you that their scoring could be an issue if they hit a dry spell and they have to sit there and rely on their goaltender. It's like I'm going to be sitting there. I'm watching the Bruins on world stage, and I'm going to be sitting there shitting my pants because that is the last thing you need in a big game like the Olympics to go on a dry spell and you don't have anybody else other than Austin Matthews that you can really rely upon with the puck on his stick to put the puck in the back of the net. And then you have to sit there and rely on their goaltenders to get it done. That is my one worry with this team. If they can get there, I think they'll win it if they can get to if they can get to the gold medal game. But I don't know. I'll say that they're gonna get it, but I wouldn't be shocked if they don't. Is what I'm saying.
All right, we will keep an eye out on this, but we've got one more segment because it's not just hockey going on in the Olympics, right, boys? The rest of the Olympics are going on. We'll go over our favorite events for the day, what to watch out for, where the U.S. stands after another day in Italy. We'll be right back on the Triple Threat Show. Welcome back to the Triple Threat Show. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is a beautiful Thursday, February 12th. If you're just tuning in, you missed out on our fun little gimmick today. We went through the three hosts of the Triple Threat Show. We each got our own segment. Very excited for it. Maybe it's something we do more going forward if the boys are into it. But we have talked a lot. We talked about the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. We talked about Olympic hockey just now, and we talked about NBA expansion. Let's continue our Olympics chat as we hit our final segment of the day, and we continue to update you on everything Olympics. Here to help me out, my two friends and co-hosts, Mayrob Fatemi and Nolan Jamber. So let's start off, boys, with what has already been completed today, or should I say the medal count from yesterday. Updated, the U.S. has now climbed to number 3 on the medal count. They have 4 gold medals, tied third, but they've got the tiebreaker because they have 13 total medals. Norway number 1 with 7 golds and 13 medals. Italy number 2 with 5 golds and 14 total medals. So depending how you sort it, Italy's either number 1 or number 2, and the U.S. is tied for second. This is tied for second or is third. There are a lot of big events today. Excuse me. We started talking about the U.S. hockey team. They play Latvia to begin their chase for the Golden Dream today at 3:10 p.m. That is going to be a big one. Canada already up 3-0. The other events going on today, they have already been completed, but they like to re-air stuff on the Olympics since it's so early. The women's Super G for alpine skiing, Italy wins gold. Cross-country skiing, the U.S. gets a bronze medal in this one. That's a huge win for the U.S. in women's 10K. We will continue curling for the U.S. The men's tournament not going well, currently down 6-2 to Switzerland, but the women's tournament has already taken down South Korea and will play their second match of the day in the prelims, taking on Sweden, the team that took down the mixed curling team in the gold medal round today at 1:05. We also have freestyle skiing. We saw that. That one is completed. Australia takes home the gold. We talked about ice hockey. The luge has a team relay. Their final today at 12:30. I love watching the luge. The luge, if there's a couple sports in the Winter Olympics that I think I could do, just a couple. And I think I could do curling. I think everybody thinks they could do curling. That's a very, very normal thought to have. I also think that I could do luge. Look, the reason why I couldn't do luge is because I'm too heavy to do it. I think literally the rules state I'm too heavy to participate in luge because I would break it. I'd probably do a full 360 over the course. But you know what? That would be amazing. That'd be so much fun. I would love to do the luge. I'd love to do the skeleton, which is luge, except you're going head first down the hill. It's going to be a blast. I love watching luge. The final at 12:30 today. We've also got lots of short track. If you haven't watched short track, it's super fun. It's just people skating as fast as they can in a circle. It's literally just track and field, which is always a hit in the Summer Olympics. Skeleton, we just talked about. They had their heats today. We actually had a story coming out of there where the Ukrainian athlete wanted to wear a tribute to the lost athletes in Ukraine on his helmet. The Olympics said no, and he was actually disqualified because he continued to wear that helmet. That is an interesting part of it. We will continue to keep an eye on that developing story. Lots of snowboarding today. Snowboarding cross. We already saw Austria take home 1 gold. There will be another event later today as we continue to keep an eye. As the snowboarding halfpipe was yesterday, lots of big stuff for the U.S. And finally, speed skating, the women's 5,000 meter final as the U.S. looks to take home another medal and add to their tally. A huge event. This is the biggest day in the Olympics so far. We are officially, or just about officially, a week in as the Olympics started February 6th. So tomorrow will be 1 week into these Olympic Games. It is going to be a lot of fun today. Make sure your TVs are tuned to NBC, USA, Peacock, wherever you're watching the Olympics. But boys, we went through a lot here. Which events are you looking forward to for these Olympics as we look to get more medals for the United States?
I like the there's no U.S. participants in the final, but the women's 5,000 meter speed skating at 10:30 today. I think speed skating is always kind of fun. Just kind of get to watch them just literally just speed skate around the small little rink for a while. I think it's always just enjoyable. It's like my passion for What's the sport? Water polo. It's like one of those like really nice sports. I just like watching this. Enjoy. I love water polo in the summer. I love that.
Dude, they'll
So
get you in
speed
water
skating is always
polo,
kind
bro.
of fun.
That's a vicious sport.
Water polo is got to be the most physically demanding sport in the Olympics. Besides like weightlifting, besides like powerlifting, I think speed. I think water polo is maybe track. Nah, I still think water polo is not the most physically demanding. Besides like lifting, it's just you're treading water for forever, like hours, like 18 feet water, like throwing a ball. It's so hard. But yeah, speed skating. There's no U.S. finalists. It's all. Yeah, these are all not a single U.S. finalist, but I'll still probably tune in because I always think it's kind of fun to watch. That's my thing to watch. Obviously, the hockey at 310, but yeah, I know what I'm gonna watch.
What about you, May-Rob? What you got your eye on?
I got my eye on. Of course, I'm watching the men's hockey team going up against Latvia later today. Also, drop in the chat. Luge tournaments, curling tournaments. We need to sign Jeremy up for those, and then for Nolan, we
I'll
get
win all of them.
Some ski jumping up in there for Nolan. It's really important. So help us out, chat. Help us out, fans. We need to get some tournaments out there to sign these boys up because they say they can do it. Sign them up. Throw them on there.
Absolutely not.
I will be there in the front row with popcorn, with peanuts ready to go. See how these boys do. I want to see it. We need to see Jeremy in a luge tournament ASAP. ASAP.
Oh heavens! You really think you could do it? You really think you could do that, Jeremy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I could ride a sled.
That thing goes fast. Like that thing goes really quick.
It's all right. I like it fast.
Okay, you say so.
It's all right. I'm in a little bit of. I love me a roller coaster, and that's basically just an icy water slide. So like,
I mean, you're traveling like hundreds of miles an hour, like 100 miles an hour. That's scary.
Sign me up.
If you like it fast, man, that's all you. But all I'm
ready to
saying,
go.
I'll sit this one out.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do it. But thank you, everybody, so much. Keep an eye out on the Olympics. We will be back tomorrow with more of the biggest stories in sport. The All-Star Game kicks off. The final day in the NBA. We'll do a standings update on Friday morning to keep you in the loop. But we will be back then. I will see y'all. Bye-bye.